The residents of Fairdale continue to pick up the pieces 1 year later. More layoffs are headed to Sycamore, and new information on the carjacking that left one man dead last week. NTC News Tonight starts now.
You're watching NTC News, DeKalb County's only television news source, on the campus of Northern Illinois University and from the Northern Television Center. This is NTC News Tonight.
People from all across the state sent out their support to the survivors of the deadly tornado that devastated Fairdale 1 year ago. Good evening, I'm Tiara Austin.
And we here at NTC News are no different. I'm Shada Cook. Thank you for joining us. We've been covering Fairdale since day one here at NTC, and we were there over the weekend to see what the next steps are for the residents of Fairdale.
Recovery efforts continue in Fairdale as the 1 year anniversary of the deadly tornado that struck the small town in the DeKalb County area nears.
We've been at it for a year. I think by the end of this calendar year, we'll have reached our goals, and we're going to work real hard here this spring and early part of the summer to really push ahead. The infrastructure that needed to get in the ground is in the ground. We continue to support families who need some help or maybe just need a sounding board to help them work through decisions.
Since last year, more than $1 million has been invested in improvements to rebuilding houses, the community area, and trees.
You see some little twiggy stems here. Those were once very mature oaks and maples and other hardwoods that were in some cases 70, 80 feet high, and they're all pretty much gone.
It took many volunteers to help Fairdale get to where it is today. Some help was provided from Kirkland Fire Department and the DeKalb County Long-Term Recovery Corps.
Upgrade the park layout for recreation for all the kids in town.
Today, homes are being rebuilt and residents have been able to move back. The journey isn't over for this small town, but its future is looking bright. From NTC News, I am Paris Bizzle.
Thanks, Paris. It looks like Fairdale has come a long way in a year, but they're still working to get back to where they were before the storm.
The suspect in last week's carjacking has been identified by police. Police identified 19-year-old Malik Henry of DeKalb as the person in question. Henry shot himself after the car he had stolen was run off the road by police. Henry took a maintenance employee's vehicle at gunpoint from 919 Ridge Drive. Police pursued Henry down Lincoln Highway, and the car turned on Lincoln Highway and continued to the interchange of Lincoln Highway and Interstate 39, where a pursuit termination device was used. Henry's car left the road coming to a stop, where he then drew a gun and shot himself inside the vehicle. Police approached the vehicle and found Henry dead. The scene was secured by DeKalb police and with the assistance of the Rochelle police.
DeKalb County State's Attorney Richard Schmock has filed a motion to vacate Jack McCullough's murder conviction and to dismiss the charges brought against him. McCullough was convicted of murder in 2012 and sentenced to life in prison for the kidnapping and slaying of 7-year-old Maria Rydolph in 1957. The cold case was reopened after McCullough's half-sister came to police with new information, a bedside confession from their mother implicating McCullough in the murder. McCullough is due back in court this Friday.
A man in Sandwich is charged after allegedly striking an autistic boy. Joseph Marino is being charged with domestic battery and unlawful possession of a weapon by a felon. Police responded to a call Monday for domestic battery. When the police arrived, they allegedly found multiple guns around the house. Marino is scheduled in court on May 27th and faces up to 5 years in prison.
Kishwaukee College trustees decide to wait to take action on the chief financial officer's severance package. Robert Galick tendered his resignation on February 1st. His severance package will be held until an audit can be completed from an outside party. Chairman of the Kishwaukee College Board, Bob Johnson, said it's just a precautionary measure since Galick was in charge of the money. It is unclear why Galick stepped down. He is the second highest paid employee to exit the college this year. Galick was under contract until June 30th, 2018. There has been no decision on whether or not Galick will be replaced.
Kishwaukee College hosted an auction in an attempt to reduce their inventory. Lark Lewis tells us what was up for sale and how the community received the public auction.
I'm at 121.30. I'll take 130.40, 40, A fast-talking man in a 15-passenger van brought locals to Kishwaukee College's public auction. Kishwaukee College held the auction to reduce their inventory and repurpose the items within the community. Everything from tires, speakers, and even old machinery was up for sale on Wednesday. The event drew a lot of first-time auction goers, but almost everyone there was on board to try it again. From NTC News DeKalb, I'm Lark Lewis.
Sycamore School District unanimously approves 33 additional layoffs. The cutbacks leave 21 full-time employees and 12 part-time employees out of a job. School District 427 began the year facing a $2.3 million deficit and has been seeking a reduction in staff since the board proposed layoffs back in February. In an effort to save money, the school will no longer provide transportation to the high school's zero-hour courses. The cutbacks are part of a $3.8 million budget plan, which is scheduled to rebalance the district's budget by the end of next year.
Kishwaukee Hospital has received some heavy praise this week. The Joint Commission has awarded the local hospital with its gold seal of approval for hospital accreditation. The seal is awarded to organizations that demonstrate continuing compliance with their performance standards. They review the hospital in several areas, including emergency management, environment of care, and leadership and medication management.
Sycamore is undergoing its annual fire hydrant flushing from Monday until Thursday, April 21st. The water department will be flushing all hydrants during normal working hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Anyone living in or near the affected areas may experience discolored tap water. If you have questions, please call the water department.
An open letter was written and submitted to Governor Rauner and members of the legislature. 24 Illinois universities and colleges, including NIU, have come together to form the Budget Cuts Mean Us Coalition. They want to get the point across that higher education isn't just important, but it's also a vital role in the state's economy.
We want legislators to realize that this isn't something we're taking lightly. We are coordinating, we're grouping together, we're working together, and this is an issue that they need to resolve because come November, we're all voting members and we're going to group together just the same around election time when it's time for these legislators all to be up for re-election.
Students who plan to participate in the May commencement must submit a reply form online by 4 p.m. on April 18th. Filling out the online reply form does not reserve guest tickets for the May commencement ceremonies. For more information, visit the tickets section, email commencement at niu.edu, or call 815-752-6800.
Get ready to sink your teeth into something tasty this week. DeKalb and Sycamore restaurants are participating in the inaugural Restaurant Week. This week is used to promote the diversity of food in the area and provoke residents to try something new. Participating restaurants are having daily specials for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. A few restaurants include Fatty's, Eduardo's, and O'Leary's.
Incentive to take advantage of whatever their specific offering is for this week and try as many different restaurants as they can.
Restaurant Week goes from April 10th through April 16th. And I wouldn't mind getting some of those sweet deals if it's nice outside.
I agree, Tiara. Emery Dhanens is here to tell us about the weather this week. Emery, will it be warm enough to catch some of those restaurant deals?
In fact, it is going to be warm and sunny over the next couple of days, and this weekend we could see temperatures near 70 degrees, so it'll be very nice out there. But first, let's take a look at Thursday, where we'll see temperatures in the 60s with the exception of Chicago and sunny skies. To hear more about the warm weather to come, stay with us. You're watching NTC News Tonight.
Good job. Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know wherever you are.
Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you've all been enjoying the beautiful sunny skies we've seen over the past couple of days. Finally starting to feel like spring out there. Today, again, we've seen more sunshine and temperatures near 61, which is a little bit warmer than normal for this time of year. I know I'm certainly loving these warm temperatures. If you're outside at all today, you might have seen some scattered clouds, but overall it's been very warm, and we do have a little bit of winds coming from the southwest, gusting to 21 miles per hour, but since they're coming from the south, they're helping bring up those warmer temperatures, so it's been feeling very nice out there, and it's going to be feeling nice over the next couple of days as well. Let's take a look at the larger scale where we have nothing significant going on in our area here today for DeKalb, mostly sunny skies. That's going to be the same thing for Thursday. We have this high pressure system situated roughly around our area, which is going to be bringing us more sunshine for Thursday, and same thing for Friday, sunny skies. Might see some rain and snow off to the west of our area, but for DeKalb, we will be pretty dry over the next couple of days. Now let's take it back to tonight, where we'll see partly cloudy skies with an overnight low of about 37 degrees. Then as we go into Thursday, it's going to be another beautiful day, mostly sunny skies with a high of about 62 degrees, so get out there and enjoy it if you can, but this weekend will be even warmer, so if you can't get out on Thursday, no worries. Then as we go into Thursday night, mostly clear conditions with an overnight low of about 41 degrees. Now let's take a look at our wonderful 5-day forecast. Again, Thursday, partly sunny, high of about 62. Then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, expecting sunny skies with temperatures near 70 degrees. So it'll be a great weekend. Make sure you get out there and enjoy it if you can. And then as we go into the week next week, it's Monday, we're expecting some rain and possibly temperatures around 67 degrees. But again, these temperatures are much warmer than we've seen. Lots of sunshine, lots of warmth. So enjoy it. It is springtime. That's all for weather. Let's send it back to the desk.
Thanks, Emery. Let's hope that sunshine sticks around.
I went to Fairdale over the weekend to see how residents were adjusting to life just 1 year removed. April 9th, 2016 in Fairdale, Illinois. Although the sky is bright, it's a somber morning at the Kirkland Fire Barn. This is because an E4 tornado tore through the small town a year ago, leveling houses and taking 2 lives. Coincidentally, at the time, Fairdale residents weren't warned of the massive tornado in a traditional way because they were missing a key piece.
Before the tornado, Fairdale had no weather warning system.
I'm here in Fairdale now, and as you can see, the houses are starting to be rebuilt as the residents are starting to move forward from the tragic event that happened a year ago today. Behind me, as you can see, there's a tornado siren that has been built to warn residents in the case of severe weather. After the tragic event, the town with under 200 citizens had the tornado siren donated by the Rotary International District. The presence of the severe weather system has sought to ease the hearts of Fairdale. The siren has been situated adjacent to the Fairdale Park since last year and recently participated in its first sound test this past Tuesday.
When it was operating this past week, and it sounded good, nice and loud, everybody will hear it.
Although the 90-foot emergency edition is a positive step forward in the community, its presence at most will warn the town of pending severe weather.
When they see the funnel cloud or they hear that siren, go take precautions. Don't just be a porch watcher and say, well, maybe, because you never know how fast that thing will hit.
It will be interesting to see how loud Fairdale will be as they move forward and continue to build. From the NTC, I'm Tiara Austin. One of the reasons the residents were so caught off guard was the lack of a proper warning system. Our guest today is an expert in weather phenomena. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Ashley. So as you know, this week marked the 1-year anniversary of the deadly tornado that leveled Fairdale. That storm was listed as an EF4. Could you explain what that means exactly?
Sure. The EF stands for Enhanced Fujita, and that's a scale that engineers and meteorologists use to determine the magnitude of the storm based on the damage it created. The scale goes from EF0 to EF5. So this was near the top of the scale and had winds of estimated of 200 miles an hour. That's in the violent category, and 1 step below the most violent, which is the EF5.
And if that's based on damage, then what about a powerful storm that lands in, say, the middle of a cornfield? How do you measure that?
Yeah, this particular storm did go through a lot of fallow cornfields, but unfortunately did, of course, hit Fairdale and some structures in northwest and northern parts of Rochelle. If that same event had occurred largely over fields, it probably would have ranked much less than an EF4, more than likely an EF0 or EF1. The enhanced Fujita scale is based on damage, and if it doesn't strike anything, it's not going to get ranked high.
Okay, so as streaming services like Netflix are starting to replace cable more and more in homes, do you worry that people are endangering themselves by bypassing local weather emergency warning systems?
Yeah, it's always been an issue. We want people to get the warning, and the best way these days is through a smartphone, through something called the Wireless Emergency Alert System. And if you have a smartphone, you're automatically enrolled in that. And I hope that you wouldn't turn it off in the middle of the night, because that's when it's most needed. Otherwise, I highly recommend a weather radio, which is something that costs usually between about $25 and $35, and will alert you in the middle of the night or any time when there's a warning that's issued by the National Weather Service. We're finding that a lot of people actually get the warning information. The problem is they don't take cover when they receive that information. So I would make sure that you have a plan when there is a warning.
Once again, we want to thank you so much for coming out to talk to us today. We really appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
You could be paying by the mile to drive on Illinois roads sooner than you think.
And a former congressman confirmed shocking allegations made against him. These are today's State Lines.
A new law could see Illinois residents paying to drive on state roads. Right now, residents are taxed at the pump through the state's gas tax. But since residents are spending less at the pumps, lawmakers are headed back to the drawing board to figure out ways to generate money. State Senate President John Cullerton is backing a plan that would charge drivers 1.5 cents per mile to help fund road construction projects.
In the wake of accusations of sexual abuse, former Congressman Dennis Hastert admits to past transgressions. In a statement released from Hastert's attorney, the former Speaker of the House acknowledged the claims made against him and apologized for his actions. An FBI report alleged that Hastert had abused 4 boys during his time as a high school wrestling coach in the late 60s and 70s. Hastert was the longest-serving Republican Speaker of the House in history and at one time was second in line for the presidency.
A scandalous new report commissioned by Mayor Rahm Emanuel about police accountability has leaked early today. The report states that the department must own up to its racist history and allegations of excessive force in order for true reform to happen. Emanuel's hand-picked task force compiled the report in order to make recommendations essential to building trust and lasting change. Although the report highlights institutional failures that go back to decades, the shooting death of Laquan McDonald was seen as the tipping point for when the city lost faith in its oversight system.
A University of Illinois student is being charged with murder in the death of her newborn son. 20-year-old Lindsey Johnson was arrested Monday on charges of first-degree murder, child endangerment, and concealment. Johnson gave birth to a baby in her dorm's bathroom before allegedly killing and disposing of the newborn. Johnson claims the baby was stillborn, but initial pathology reports indicate the baby was born alive. Johnson was released to her parents' custody on a $750,000 bond.
Authorities are turning up the heat in Panama.
And lawmakers in North Carolina aren't backing down on a controversial new bill. Here's what's happening in today's World Watch.
Authorities have raided the law firm at the center of the Panama Papers. Prosecutors say they are looking for the documents that show Mossack Fonseca was engaged in criminal activity. World leaders like Russia's Vladimir Putin and the UK's David Cameron have been implicated in the leaks. Cameron took the offensive and addressed his alleged involvement in front of Parliament this week. The firm is accused of creating shell companies and offshore accounts for some of the wealthiest people in the world in order to avoid paying taxes.
The battle over North Carolina's controversial bathroom bill is spilling all over the nation. The sign went up over the weekend in response to House Bill Number 2, which bans individuals from using bathrooms that do not correspond with their biological sex. The bill also prevents cities from passing anti-discrimination ordinances to protect LGBT people. Governor Pat McCreary issued an executive order last night which would lift some elements of the bill. However, many of the more controversial policies are still intact.
This is the scene in Kolam, 2 days after a devastating fire that claimed the lives of over 100 people. Triumph turned to tragedy early Sunday morning after a fire erupted during a fireworks display. 109 people are dead, and more than 500 are wounded after a loose firework igniting the remaining stockpile at the Puting Ao temple in southern India. Police are looking for 10 individuals in connection with the accident that occurred during the Hindu New Year celebrations. Police say the temple did not have permission for the fireworks during the celebration.
U.S. intelligence satellites shows that North Korea may be prepping a missile launch. Intelligence indicated it could be one of two mobile ballistic missiles known as KN-8 or KN-14. These missiles are believed to be the same ones the North Korean government displayed during this military parade last year. The missiles could be capable of reaching as far as the Pacific Northwest coast of the U.S. Although rhetoric from Kim Jong-un has escalated recently, U.S. officials believe this move could just be a way for North Korea to show off their strength to the world. And that's today's World Watch.
Even though they may not be fighting for a playoff spot anymore, the Bulls fought hard against the Pelicans. I'm Walter Douglas, and this is NTC Sports. Anthony Davis sits as he sees the Pelicans play the Bulls. Jimmy drives down the lane, stops, and passes to Nicole, who splashes the three. Tony Snell passes to Doug McDermott, who misses the three, but Cristiano Felicio cleans it up with a nasty putback dunk. Tim Frazier pump fakes with the 1-2 steps and floats it in. Justin Holiday, he passes to Jimmy Butler, who pulls up with 3 seconds left on the clock and makes the triple. The Bulls will go on to win that game. The Warriors were playing for win number 72 against the Spurs. Let's see how that played out. Tim Duncan set out for rest reasons against the Warriors. We pick up with Kawhi Leonard playing and passing to David West, who screens and hands it back to Leonard, who stuffs it in Bogut's face. Stephen Curry in transition stops, pops, and nails the 3-ball. Curry passes by Patty Mills and goes up strong to get the and-one bucket. Now we see Curry dancing with West, losing him and making the finger roll look easy. Warriors go on to win 92-86. The Cubs look to continue their hot start against the Cincinnati Reds. Let's see how that played out. We start off with Brandon Finnegan pitching. He pitches to Jason Hayward, who hits it to left center field, but Adam Duvall makes the diving catch to rob him of the hit. Hayward back at the plate, singles to right field, bringing in David Ross and Matt Caesar and bringing the Cubs within 1. It's the bottom of the 8th, and Addison Russell hits it out the park for a 3-man home run, giving the Cubs the lead. Hector Rondon strikes out Jay Bruce for 1, Duvall for 2, and Scott Scriebler for 3, and sealing the victory for the Chicago Cubs. From Steph to Seth Curry of the Sacramento Kings, today's play of the day goes to Seth Curry, who fakes, spins, steps back, and knocks down the 3. In slow motion, you see him lose the defender with the fake. Just like Steph, he knocks down the 3. That's all for NTC Sports. Ryan Mack will be back next week.
Coming up, a mother and son kick their way to victory. Stay with us. You're watching NTC News Tonight.
Hey, my name's Katie and I'm in the 9th grade. I'm an A average student and I'm an athlete working towards a scholarship. And everybody tells me how much potential I have. But I just wish someone would tell me where my next meal is coming from. Katie, how'd I do?
Do you have to be so serious?
Well, I mean, I did like a crazy dance in a movie if you want me to like, you know, do a little, no.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
When you think about spending time with your mom, the first thing that usually comes to mind is baking or cooking, but now fighting?
Not just any type of fighting, Shada. The two take Taekwondo classes together. NTC reporter Katie Brost has more on the dynamic duo.
Obtaining a black belt is no easy feat, but the difficulty level did not hold back anyone this weekend. On Saturday, students of Bill Cho's United Taekwondo Center had a long day of black belt testing. Students who study at the UTC range from 4 to even over 50 years old. Two students share a special bond. They are Janine and Talon Joint, a mother and son duo who are taking on Taekwondo together. The Joints were testing for their second-degree black belt.
I was like, am I going to pass or am I going to fail? Am I doing good right now? Am I doing bad right now? You know, it's sort of this or this, you know? I feel very good. That was on my mind about the last 2 weeks. I was like, am I going to pass or am I going to fail? You know? Not just today, last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, maybe even a month.
4 years ago, Talon went into the UTC to see how he felt about Taekwondo. Seeing how much her son enjoyed it, Janine decided to join.
And then I was thinking about Talon, so you get a whole nother side of that because you're trying to think of it for yourself and get yourself through it, but you're thinking, how's my kid doing and how's he doing, you know, and is he okay?
The test consisted of 6 categories: basic kicks and punches, forms, terminology, sparring, basic techniques, and breaking. The judges watched on carefully while scoring the participants. Janine and Talon passed.
Once you go up there and they hand that to you, you're like, all those times I doubted, all those times I was nervous or my self-esteem was messing with me, you know. It's all worth it.
Everyone in the UTC family passed. From NTC News Tonight, this is Katie Brost.
Thanks, Katie. What a great way to bond with a parent. NTC News Tonight is produced and directed by students here at Northern Illinois University. We want to thank you all for being with us.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll be back this same time next week. Thanks for watching.